Everyone, welcome back to our 3-day workshop, day 2 with Ravi Abuvala. If you don't know him, now you do. One of the system kings in the industry for a long time before it was cool to use LinkedIn and have processes. So he's going to kind of unpack who he is for you shortly here. But if you're returning and ready to absorb the knowledge, the best practices, and the actionable insights, you're definitely in the right place. And thank you for doing the homework. The homework was to show up today ready to go. And for those of us that are joining for the first time who couldn't make it yesterday, let me bring you up to speed on what you missed and how you can catch up on all this valuable information. So if you didn't know, now you know. You missed out on 5 key points that Ravi Abuvala went over yesterday. First one was he discussed the importance of building trust through content exposure. Second, we explored the Google's 7-11-4 rule for converting strangers into buyers. He went into depth on that. You got to watch that replay. Ravi then introduced the concept of creating content as a business owner, not as a creator. And then we learned really quickly how to develop a sales copy blueprint for consistent messaging. Definitely want to watch that segment in the replay. And lastly, Ravi covered how to use Go High Level at a very in-depth, but not, there's still more for the last day on how to use Go High Level to implement everything that he went over. So that's what you got to catch up on. If you haven't yet, we're going to get you all the information to do so. If it's your first time, you're not a customer yet, Ravi's put a special offer for you for a 30-day free trial. Our normal trial on our website is for 14 days. With Ravi's offer, it's for 30 consecutive days. And then once you get that trial set up, click the link below. You're going to be able to get a done-for-you initial setup. Because this software is very, very packed with many features and benefits, we're going to get you up to speed so it's up and running, so you could take what Ravi's sharing and put it to work immediately. And then as I went over here, that recap, take a screenshot of this. This is what you need to remind yourself to go back to. So if you didn't know, now you know. This is what you missed, but the audio video versions are way better. And if you haven't yet or you're not aware, you can watch the full replay right on our website. The link is there, gohighlevel.com. The extension's there. Visit that, and you're going to be able to get the full replay of yesterday's session. So without further ado, we're going to get into what day 2 and day 3 will look like. Ravi's going to go over today's short form and long form breakdown. And then day 3 is going to be automating that process with HighLevel. This will be a jam-packed, maybe 55-minute or so training, very tactical. So definitely be sure to watch the replay if you need clarification. And that replay will be available at the end of the session. With that being said here, we did have a winner yesterday, whether you guys knew or not. We had a contest going. So I want the help of y'all to help me congratulate Amanda Blackenship. She received a gift card to our swag store for just sharing positive vibes, comments, questions, liking, commenting, the whole 9. And for today, you also could participate by doing the same. Share your feedback in the YouTube Live, the Facebook Live, ask a question. If you decide that you want to ask a question, make sure to put Q before your question. And that way, when Ravi hosts his Q&A, he'll be able to go over those questions for you and answer anything you may have that's urgent or important to you. And with that being said, let's get to the regularly scheduled program. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome by showing some comments below in the chat for Ravi Abuvala. He's about to take over the mic and run with it. All yours, man.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning back in again on day 2. Genuinely means a lot to me. Hopefully you guys got value out of day 1. Just for a very short recap, I know that JB already covered it, but just because it's going to go in right into what I'm going to show you guys when I share my screen here. Main idea is that we're at the lowest point of person-to-person trust in the history of the United States. People just, quite frankly, aren't buying as quickly as they used to, and they want more information. And the way that they're going to get that information is through content online, whether it's blog posts, YouTube videos, Instagram, LinkedIn articles, you name it, webinars, live workshops like these. People are just spending their time making sure before they pull the trigger that this is what they want to invest their time, energy, or hard-earned money in, right? And so right now you can maybe get away with putting this on the back burner for a little bit longer, 6 more months, a year longer, but every single day you guys don't take action on this, you're losing to those people that are doing exactly what I talked about yesterday and what I talked about today. Okay. So we know we need to create content. We know if we're not doing it, our competitors are going to be doing it. And we know it's the only way we can really acquire clients at scale and do it really, really profitably. The other thing that we covered yesterday, I was going to share my screen, is also the concept I created called the Content Prism, right? And that is the idea that whenever you start creating content, you can come at it as a content creator, which is, let me just create anything that gets views, and it doesn't really matter if it leads to leads, calls, and sales, and you're a slave to the algorithm. Or you can do it the way that a business owner creates content, which is, what content do I need to get that if this person watches this content, I know for sure, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they are my ideal client, right? And once you understand that, then you can create your video sales letter, your YouTube video, your Instagram videos, and your ads. Any other piece of content you want to create comes from this foundational understanding of what content or who you're serving, what their pain points are, what their desires. And that's something that we call the sales copy blueprint. We create these for our clients, but it essentially becomes a one-pager, and you're pulling at it to say, if somebody were to watch a piece of content on this one topic here, it would either help attract them into buying something from me, or if they found me elsewhere and then they saw this piece of content, it would attract them into buying from me, right? So now that we understand that, let's dive into some of the tactical stuff that I saved for today. So this is going to get a little bit, let's say, nerdy and tactical. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. And if you guys do have questions, just like JB was saying, put Q in the box down below. I'm going to do my best at the very end to answer that question after you put in the Q there. So let's dive into the two main platforms that I believe that every single business owner should be on, right? The first one is going to be YouTube, and the second one is going to be Instagram. I'm going to break down how we've set up both of ours on here and how my media team is structured, and how you guys can copy this in just one moment. But the first thing I want to tell you is that the reason I chose these two platforms isn't just random, right? It's for very specific reasons. So the first reason is that the reason we choose a long form platform and a short form platform is because if you remember what I talked about yesterday and what JB brought up earlier, there's that 7-11-4 rule. So Google did a study, analyzed billions of buyer data points, and they identified that on average, it takes 7 hours of content exposure across 11 different touch points in 4 different locations to turn a stranger into a buyer. And so in order to get those 7 hours of content, you can't necessarily just do that on shorts, on reels, on LinkedIn posts, or on tweets, because it takes 3 seconds or 7 seconds or 10 seconds to consume that. But also on YouTube videos, where you could do a 20-minute video, a 30-minute video, an hour-long video, it's really hard to have every single person watch an hour-long video, let's say 11 times, for that 11 different touch points. So what we found is a really beautiful blend of having one long-form piece of content and one short-form piece of content. And here's your first little hack. If you can connect these two together, which I'm going to show you how we do this in a moment, so that they're going from the long form to the short form and from the short form to the long form, then it's the best of both worlds. Then you're manufacturing that 7-11-4 rule for all of your prospects as they're moving along the journey. JB, I'm going to take a pause here. We good with everything so far?
We're right on pace and we're rocking and rolling.
Perfect. So now that we understand the short form and long form, why specifically YouTube and Instagram versus LinkedIn and Twitter and TikTok and all these other things? Well, I'm going to just explain to you why I like it. Okay. First of all, why Instagram? It's one of the oldest social media platforms out there. Number one. Number two, the vast majority of my clientele, which is typically people between the ages of 22 and 55, are on Instagram. If I was serving an older clientele, let's say someone that was like 65 years old, Facebook would probably be the right choice. If I was serving just busy professionals like CEOs, I might try LinkedIn. And if I was going after like people that were under the age of 18 or 18 to 24, I might try TikTok. So it depends on where your clients are that you can choose that short form platform. But for me, I like Instagram because it's one of the oldest ones and it's where my ideal avatars are. The other reason I like Instagram is because Instagram has built-in software, unlike any other platform, that you can use to generate hundreds of inbound leads a day automatically. So I'm going to show you the software that we use in order to do that. And then you can send that directly to your Go HighLevel account and nurture them from there. And the final reason I like Instagram is because we run a considerable amount of ads in my company. And the nice thing about Instagram is if you attract somebody from your organic content, you can retarget them with a paid ad, right? So let's say you see one of my videos on Instagram and you watch my reel. you don't buy from me, but then an hour later you see an ad from me where I say a direct call to action, hey, book a call to speak with me, well, then you're more likely to buy from me. And it also works the reverse. When I run ads on Instagram, whenever someone sees my ad, they can click on my profile. And when they click on my profile, they can see all of the content that I have, which is going to lead them to more likely engaging with my ad and my content. So it really increases our return on ad spend. So if I was running all my ads primarily from LinkedIn, then I would probably do the exact same thing on LinkedIn. But because I'd say 90% of people watching this video either are or will be running ads on Facebook, Instagram, Meta, whatever you want to call it, I really, really am bullish on Instagram for that reason. So now that we have Instagram down, let's now look at YouTube. Like I said, we need a long form platform. Now, the only other options other than YouTube are a podcast or like a blog, newsletter style content. Let me explain to you why I think the YouTube is superior myself. First of all, it is the second largest search engine of the world, owned by the first largest search engine of the world. So, in case you didn't know, Google owns YouTube. So you have the two most powerful search engine of the world's owning this one or being this one platform that allows you to rank specific videos for specific keywords that match your sales copy blueprint. So what JB was saying earlier is like some of the videos that I rank for is LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but if someone's trying to look, how do you get clients from LinkedIn Sales Navigator? They're probably my ideal client, right? So I can rank for that. But if I try to rank for a blog article on SEO on Google, how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, very low chance I'm going to be able to rank for SEO there. Also, YouTube versus, let's say, audio podcast or a written blog has the benefit of building more trust as people are seeing your face more. So I read articles and blogs all the time online. I have no idea who runs it. I have no idea who the owner is. But on YouTube, I'm building this community, this personal relationship with whoever that I'm watching because I can see their eyes, I can see their facial expressions. I feel like I get to know them more and more, right? That's kind of what a personal brand is. The other reason why I like YouTube is because YouTube is really good at bringing new eyeballs to the platform. So if you were to run a podcast, most people don't know this, but the number one way that podcasts grow is from traffic from other platforms. So if you have an email list and you're launching a podcast, if you have a huge Instagram following and you launch a podcast, you can drive all those people to the podcast. But it's almost impossible to get new subscribers to just stumble on your podcast. Second most way that podcasters get their followers is by referrals, right? So someone says, hey, you got to listen to this guy's podcast or this girl's podcast. It's amazing. But the problem with that is you got to have enough people in the very beginning for that to even start, right? And so it becomes very difficult for you to run podcasts because it's not really a great way to bring more attention or eyeballs there. So that's my little spiel, if you will, on why I believe YouTube and Instagram are the best platforms to use. They're incredibly user-friendly. Let's now go into how I would set up the platforms specifically. So I'm actually going to dive in and like go directly to my YouTube channel and kind of show you guys some tactical stuff here. So
Ravi,
I'm not going to go ahead,
if I could just jump in really quick. So for
please.
audience members, I mean, everyone here is a little bit of a different, journey, pace, experience. For someone that right now found this information just to be overwhelmingly amazing, but they're unsure of where they need to start from scratch, is there a piece of advice or best practice that you would say you should consider this, and this before you start creating accounts everywhere? And you should start maybe with this one or that one if this is your type of audience. So like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and then you have like YouTube, and then all these other types of sites. For someone that doesn't have anything, what is the best starting point?
Yeah, so the best starting point is whatever platform that you personally use the most and that your clients are on. Because as you'll kind of see, in order to really grow on the platforms, you kind of need to know what is working well. And the reason why I know what's working well on YouTube is because I spend my time watching YouTube videos, right? So like I said, that kind of that whole spiel. I think that one long form and one short form is going to be the best. And I kind of gave the justification for each one already. If you had to absolutely choose one, I probably would start with the short form content. It's a little bit easier to create. And it's easier. It's like 60 seconds versus creating one that's 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long. But very quickly, you could just take your short form content and just expand on whatever ideas performed well on the short form and create the long form videos on it. But for all of our clients, we help them set up both an Instagram and a YouTube account, even though they might not be using both immediately from day one, because those are really that's kind of the two double whammies that we've seen really, really generate a lot of qualified sales calls for the businesses.
And just one follow-up question. Would you consider Facebook Lives or YouTube Lives to be part of that source of getting information out as a platform, consistently? Or is that something
Yeah,
in
so
addition to picking one?
I would I would be cautious about recommending. So I don't want to go too deep into the technical aspect of this. Do lives help? 100%. My thought process around lives is this. Lives are only as valuable as the people that are on the lives, watching the lives. And so if you're just starting this out here and you get on a live and you have two people on the lives, well, I have a surprise for you. You're not going to get more than two people on the lives just by doing lives every single day. You're going to get more than two people on lives by creating content like individual posts or YouTube or whatever it is that attracts content while you're not on lives. And then you can really expand that community building and that trust by doing lives. The way that I see lives are more as a middle of funnel or bottom of funnel asset when someone's been consuming your content for 7, 14, 30, 60 days and they haven't pulled the trigger on booking a call to speak with you. And it's a way that you can kind of interact with them one-on-one. I don't see it as a way to build traction, to build an audience, which is what is someone who's just starting out. That's what they should be optimizing for, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification and just the best practice on it. Perfect.
Of course. Great question. Okay. So, and I know I'm going to try to keep this as simple as possible because I know there's people here that are just starting out, never created content before. So, JB, feel free to stop me and break it down even simpler if you feel like I'm not doing it because I have a tendency. And my ideal client's usually doing at least, like 150 to $300,000 a year. So this could be before that, and so I just might not speak the language, but I will do my best to try to simplify it as much as possible. Okay, so let's talk about YouTube. So YouTube, I already justified all the reasons why I think you guys should be doing it. The main thing that I found works best on YouTube, this is my strategy, and I could go deep into creating your profile and optimizing links and all that stuff here, but I'm going to be honest with you. Just look at my YouTube, copy what I'm doing, and you can do it for yourself. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. It doesn't matter that much. The main things that I found make the biggest difference for attracting people, nurturing people, and leading to leads, calls, and sales are as follows. First and foremost, if you go to my videos and I go to the most popular videos that I have on here, you can see I have a ClickUp tutorial, how to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Apollo.io, LinkedIn for lead gen. And when I click on some of these, like let's say the ClickUp one right here, I have this cool little software on the right-hand side called vidIQ. And it's telling me that right now I am averaging 30 views an hour for this video. Okay, 30 views an hour. And this video was posted 2 years ago. Okay, so I don't know the exact date that this video was posted, January 25th, 2022. So more than 2 years ago. And I'm still getting 30 people an hour, which is what? 24 times 30 is 720 people every single day for a video that I made over 2 years ago. YouTube is the only platform that will do that. Okay. The Instagram, it's going to be gone in 48 hours. TikTok, it's gone in less than an hour. Right. So tweets, it's the same thing. This is still bringing me on average 30 views an hour. And of course, 30% of those 30 people are going to become a lead, become a call, and become a sale for our company. Right. And so that's why for me, the number one source of opportunity for most people on YouTube is going to be what is called the search results. And that's for ranking your videos that when people are typing in specific keywords that you can put your videos on the top of. Now, let me show you the opposite of what most people do. What most people do is they try to be, if anybody here knows this guy, they try to become Alex Ramosi, which Alex Ramosi obviously knows everything that he's doing. He's a great content creation. But my point is that they think that, okay, let me build, this is called competing for on the browser or suggested on YouTube. And this is where if someone goes to their home channel, so let me go to the home, and I actually, because I hate being distracted, I actually have this little app that keeps me on it. So this is what browse is. So this is, you land on YouTube and you're just looking to be distracted. And so these are all the videos that land on here. The problem with this is that you are competing against all of these people who are doing the same thing and who are trying to create the perfect thumbnail, the perfect title, and appeal to this huge, huge audience of people. Okay. And if you do get on this, I will say that that's amazing. If you get on YouTube, browser, you're crushing it. I promise you. But as somebody who has made over 1,100 videos on YouTube, look right here, 1,300, I'm sorry, 1,300 videos on YouTube. I can tell you that trying to rank for the browser suggestion is 1,000 times harder than ranking for search results. And I'm actually going to give you the formula that I use to rank for search results here in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to literally give you the script that we work with our clients on. But I'm telling you that if you try to do a keyword, way better chance of getting clients. And the other reason why ranking for search results versus ranking for browser or discovery page works is because you can follow your sales copy blueprint to the T. So if I were to create something that was going to go on the browse page, I might say something like multi-millionaire day in the life in Miami. That would be something that could maybe populate on the browse page. Okay. So that's not bad, right? I could do that. And that's a legitimate claim. I am a multimillionaire living in Miami. But are all the people that watch that video going to be my ideal audience of people that are looking to grow their business that are at this thing? Probably not. If anything, I personally don't watch the videos that are like multi-millionaire day in the life in Dubai. And I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I'm saying that I don't watch it, and I'm kind of like my ideal avatar. I'm obviously past it, but you guys get the idea. And so instead, what if someone typed in the words, like for us, we help our clients, we build them Facebook ad campaigns. So what if I ranked for how to run Facebook ads? What if every single time someone was thinking about running Facebook ads, they saw my face and I helped them run Facebook ads? Which one do you think would lead to more clients? Which one do you think would lead to more sales for my business? Millionaire, how they live in Miami, or how to run Facebook ads? Ask yourself that exact same question. If you're a chiropractic agency, a real estate agency, which one do you think would lead to more sales for your business? What most agency owners do, what I see is how I got these clients from my agency, because that's what you love talking about, because that's how you got clients for your agency. But if you're not running a agency coaching program or an agency done for you service, all you're going to get is other agency owners that are looking for the same thing that you're doing, versus if you were to say, as a chiropractic agency, how any chiropractor can get 30 new leads a day running Facebook ads, right? So one's going to have way less views than the other, but it's the views don't matter. It's the quality of those views. And I think I actually brought up yesterday an example, but let me just show you guys. Okay, so 4 years ago, 30,000 views, lead generation for real estate, how to generate quality real estate leads using Facebook ads. Okay, so back when I had my agency, I was creating videos. Look how terrible that thumbnail is. That's so funny. I was creating videos on exactly what my agency did, which was run ads for real estate agents. And you can see 70% of these views were coming from search terms, and the specific search terms were real estate lead generation, real estate Facebook lead generation, real estate, right? Give me a 1 in the box wherever you're watching this right now if this is making sense to you watching this. Okay, so and this is what I talked about before. 8% came from browse, 6% came from a director unknown, and 5% came from suggested. So sure, these things have their time and place, and yes, your channel will grow faster if you do it here. But the people that I know that are printing money, including myself using YouTube, we're focusing primarily on the YouTube search, because we know if someone clicks on this video, they are our ideal avatar. Versus if someone clicks on this video, 1 out of 100 of them are our ideal avatar. Okay, I'll take a break here real quick. JB, how we doing, sir?
Great. We have comments, we have engagement happening. Just folks, if you're on YouTube or Facebook Live, definitely we want to get your feedback on this. I mean, the tool alone that you share, man, like we're looking at it from your eyes, and it's almost like you got us in your office. You're actually telling us what we need to do, which is pretty neat. So, I mean, as long as you're willing to give this information and kind of point us in the right direction, we're all ears, man.
Perfect. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to talk about, before I go into how I find videos on YouTube, I'm going to cover one more thing, which is when you're creating the videos, what matters the most. And then I'm going to show you how we do SEO, and then I'm going to switch over to Instagram, and then I'll do a Q&A. So for YouTube, this is the deal. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaches and gurus, and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a media team. What I have learned is very simply, the only 2 metrics that really matter is going to be watch time and click-through rate. Okay, and let me define both of these for you, or actually, I'll let YouTube define them for you. So watch time. Oh boy, it doesn't define it. Oh, there we go. Total watch time since the video was published. So very simply, if you have a minute-long video and you have 1,000 people watch that minute-long video all the way through, then your watch time would be 1,000 minutes. If you have a hour-long video and you have two people watch 30 minutes of it, then you'd have an hour-long watch time. So it's the total sum of the watch time on the video itself. The reason why watch time is an important number for YouTube is it lets YouTube know that this person is enjoying the video, because they're essentially taking the understanding that if they continue to watch this video, they are enjoying it. For example, when we started this, there was probably a few more people that were on this presentation than where we're at right now. Let's say we lost 5 or 10 people. And that's because either I didn't do a good job getting to the point fast enough, or because this wasn't relevant to them, and so they hopped off. So what you can see here is like when it comes to videos and engagement, the longer the video, the less engaged people are typically. But at the same time, longer videos perform really well on YouTube because you can get a really high watch time. So if you look at all my videos on YouTube, I'd say the average video is probably 25 to 30 minutes long. And where everyone else creates 5-minute, 8-minute videos. But if I can make longer videos and keep people's retention for longer, then YouTube likes that because I keep them on the platform longer. Okay. So that's the first thing you care about. I'm not going to go too deep into like do this and do that for watch time. The most basic thing you got to do for watch time is just make sure. Everyone always says, how long should my video be? I say it should be as long enough to get your point across. That's as long as it needs to be. Okay. So it could be 2 hours. I've done a video that's an hour and a half before, and I've done videos that are 12 minutes before. But if you can make it a little bit longer and still pack it with value, I do recommend doing that. The second metric that matters is what's called click-through rates, impression click-through rates, or your thumbnail click-through rate. And that is essentially the combination of the title of your video, which is right here, and the thumbnail itself. Now, if I'm being really honest with you, this is probably one of the worst thumbnails I've ever put up there, but you have to give me a break because this was 4 years ago when I was just trying to figure out YouTube. And so your click-through rate is essentially meaning that, let's not say, let me tell you, that 70% of people find this video from YouTube search. So if they type in real estate lead generation in YouTube search, and they see a video that says lead generation for real estate, how to generate high quality real estate leads using Facebook ads, and this photo, what percentage of those people actually click on that video, right? So the higher the percentage, the more it indexes to YouTube that this is what people were searching for when they type that in, the higher up you'll go in the search results. And then if you combine that with a longer watch time, then that's saying all systems go to YouTube. So it's giving these metrics, these signals to YouTube saying, hey YouTube, so that's an exaggeration, 1,000 people typed in how to generate real estate leads on Facebook into YouTube. And then 7% of the people that typed that in actually clicked on this video here. So this video must have something to do with that. And then of that 7%, they watch thousands of hours of this video. And so this video must answer the question of how do you generate high quality real estate leads using Facebook in the best way possible on the platform. So this is a good video. Let's rank it higher, or let's push it to more people. Does that make sense to everybody on here? The breaking down of the metrics?
Absolutely. And I think it's
Cool.
just, matter of, if you're first time on this, understanding what the rules are and what the KPIs are, and then adding your creativity and the advice and the strategies you've learned to build authentic, self-generated content. So if we understand what it is and how it works, we can build good content around that.
Exactly. I always say, if anybody gives me a task or a job or whatever, I always say, what are the KPIs you want me to hit first? Because without that, how do you know if you're doing a good job or not? So for you, you want a high watch time and you want a high click-through rate. The click-through rate's a high click-through rate. I would say that 7% is a great click-through rate, like 6.7. Our channel average is, I think, 4.5%. So this video is doing, ironically, even though I knocked this video of how ugly the thumbnail is, for some reason it's working really well, right? Okay, so now that we've covered the KPIs, I'm going to quickly cover something that I call the keyword tracker. This is a template, and I give this to our clients. But this is the very simple breakdown of how I do. This is exactly what my media team does for me. And by media team, I mean my VA. So first thing we do is we go to that vidIQ software that I was talking about, and we go to the keyword tracker. Then I enter in the keyword that I wanted to rank for. So let's say I typed in go high level, for example. Let's say I wanted to rank for go high level. I click enter. Pretty good search volume, 300,000, and competition is pretty low. It's 27, which means I would probably make a video on go high level. But what you want to do is if you were just starting out and you had 1,000 subs, you're trying to compete with everybody else that's making a video on go high level. So instead, you want to go a little bit of a longer tail keyword. So instead of just saying go high level, I might say go high level tutorial. Okay, so there's less search volume, but there's also going to be less competition. So now I could make a video on Go High Level Tutorial. And then I would actually take that word, Go High Level Tutorial. I would open up an incognito window. Let me share my screen really quickly. I know I'm going through this fast, but you guys can watch the replay. Um, I think this is it. Cool. In an incognito window, so my search results or my none of that stuff is weighted. Go High Level Tutorial. Then I would see uh, who else is ranking for the words "Go High Level Tutorial." The top three people here, because the majority of clicks are going to come from the top three people. And then I would analyze their videos, and I would see how many subs do they have, how long is the video, how do they cover the video, and then if I felt confident that I could make a better video with with a longer, better video, then I would do it. So, for example, here this guy has 269,000 subs. That'd be pretty hard to compete with. This is 35,000 subs. That gives me hope because I have 90,000 subs, and this person has 220,000 subs. So this one might be a little bit too competitive for me to create a video on. Okay, but it gives you the idea of how I'm looking at videos inside here. And I even created, if I go back really quickly, I even created a little tracker here that actually rates that stuff out here. So let me just say I'm not well, actually I can show you in my keyword tracker. So this is the one that we're literally doing right now. And so for example, Facebook ads course, which you guys will see me come up with this video soon here, has 47,000 people searching for it. The average top three rankings of the video subscribers is 174,000. The average top three views per hour is 26. Number of top three videos with exact keyword match is 3. Average top three video length is 191. And so this gives it a ranking. I created a pretty extensive formula on this of a 5 on an SEO ranking. So all I'm doing here to simplify this, I'm going to take a break. And I know that this is advanced stuff. I'm just giving you guys the advanced stuff so you can watch the videos and figure it out later. All I'm doing here is essentially following an SOP of identifying what videos that I could make that my ideal audience, based on my Content Prism, is typing into YouTube. What videos could I possibly make? And then I'm looking at how hard would it be to rank for those keywords. Because all else being equal, if you had a 9 out of 10 chances of ranking for a video on this specific keyword and a 1 out of 10 chances of ranking for this other keyword, why wouldn't you do the 9 out of 10 chances every single time? So there's a saying in the United States, it's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So instead of just like randomly throwing spaghetti against a wall, you can do a little bit of homework first up front and then give yourself the best chance to beat out the other videos and start ranking for that. And you'll see that you'll start ranking immediately. Like I'm talking about second day you publish it, you'll start seeing views come in from the search results if you do all of this correctly. And you can take a little screenshot of these instructions if you guys want to here. I'll take a break, JB, just make sure we're good.
We are good. Yes, I'm lining up a few questions here while you're doing that. So if you know, not to rush you in any way, but just if I'm looking away, I'm just getting the questions lined up. So folks, if you haven't yet, continue to jot down your questions. We're about 55 minutes strong that we're going to be buttoning this up for implementation and then going over tomorrow. So I want to make sure we get your questions to Ravi and then be able to go from there. So back to you, Ravi.
Cool. I'm going to transition over to Instagram since we have to be careful on time. Am I okay with that based on the questions and the flow?
Absolutely, man.
Cool. All right, so that's YouTube. I know it's a lot, but I just wanted to give you guys the taste and get you guys started. Let's jump over to Instagram really quickly. So on Instagram, I'm not the first person to use Instagram to generate leads online, so I'm not going to try to claim to be. What do I do on Instagram that works really well? So first and foremost, please spend the $8 a month and invest in the verified badge. It's totally worth it. It makes a big difference. Even though everybody knows that you can pay for it now, everyone's still in their mind, like when we're looking at people that follow me and we're looking at people to potentially work with, if they don't have the verified badge, we don't even really talk to them. So it takes $8 a month to pay for it, and it immediately gives you status, right? It's the exact same reason why you might buy a nicer shirt or a collared, you put on a collared shirt if you're having a meeting, unlike me, who's wearing a t-shirt right now, versus wearing a regular t-shirt, okay? Then your profile name, you want a professional photo here, and then your claim whatever you're going to do for your clients is the first thing up top, because people are going to see this from ads and elsewhere. So I will start booking you 5+ calls a day in the next 7 days. Totally done for you. DM me scale for information. I'm going to talk about DMs here in a moment. And then I have a little bit of social proof here. So my company, Scaling with Systems, we've generated over $25 million in sales for ourselves, worked with over 1,200 clients. And then I have a link that goes to the video sales letter that I talked about earlier. That is part of my sales copy blueprint, and that we write for our clients. So to keep the Instagram lesson here as short as possible, here's my tips, right? So first and foremost, I'd say, let's say 60% of our calls from Instagram do not come from people clicking this link in our bio, but instead it comes from people messaging me words and me having conversations with them in the DMs. To give you an example of how easy that this is, my girlfriend, who has zero business experience previously, is launching like a relationship coaching offer program, and I showed her how to use. I showed her everything I'm doing here in 20 minutes. I'm showing you. The next day, she books 3 sales calls from her Instagram, and every day she's averaged about 3 to 4 calls a day. With, I almost promise you, less experience than you have. I mean, she's like, "What do I say on these calls?" I'm like, "Just book the calls. We'll figure it out." And she's like, "I booked them. What do I do?" Right? So it's very, very simple because it's just super organic, right? So if somebody reaches out to you in DM, like if I were to text you right now, or you were to text me, and you say, "Hey, Ravi, I'm thinking about working with you." It's so easy for me to be like, "Yeah, tell me about where you're at in your business and what are you doing?" And for me to just organically have that conversation versus you trying to nail by yourself, like a video sales letter, which takes a lot of time, energy, and effort to work to make sure that that works correctly. Because in a video sales letter, something like a video, it's one way. I'm telling you, this is what it is. I don't get to hear any of your feedback. Where on Instagram, you're able to actually have a conversation back and forth. So that's why we love the DMs if you can set it up correctly. And then as far as posting is concerned, we do the exact same thing that I told you about on the Sales Copy Blueprint. So we find stuff that matches my Sales Copy Blueprint, what would people be talking about, and then I create content on it on Instagram. And I won't go too deep in some of these things inside of here, but I'll just kind of like pull up a few different styles of stuff that I'm doing. Oh, so first is how I replaced 60K a year sales coordinator with ChatGPT. So my clients, they have a lot of sales calls coming in that are unqualified. They know what the word sales coordinator is. And so I did this video. It went decently viral, 37,000 views. That's pretty viral, like in my industry. And got a bunch of people commenting, which I'll talk about here in a second. So if somebody wants to learn more about how to replace a sales coordinator with ChatGPT, you could probably assume that they have sales calls being booked on their calendar, or they want more sales calls being booked on their calendar. And so this is attracting the ideal avatar. If I go down here and I say how to build a sales team, exact same situation. If I say how we make $250,000 a month per sales rep, same situation here. So all of this content is content that I'm creating that essentially it's not fancy. You guys go on my Instagram, watch this video, and just look how absolutely boring this video is. My face isn't on there. You can see me switching between different screens on my iPad. These are just screenshots that I have in here, and it takes me about 60 seconds to do. I'm not hiring some short form media agency. I'm not paying $10,000 a month. I don't have a coach. I don't even have a creative director at this point. I'm literally every single piece of content you see like this on my profile, I am doing by myself in 30 minutes every single morning. So if I can find time to do it, I bet you can. And I was able to, if I scroll down here, hopefully it'll load. I was able to take my average post from about like 1,000 views every post, and I was able to 4x it to about 4,000 views every post. And now the most recent ones I'm doing, I'm getting 16,000 views, 10,000 views. Let's see here, 10,000 views, 15,000 views, 7,000 views. You guys get the idea. 42,000 views, 27,000 views, right? So once you start posting, you can start to see what works well, and then you can just double or triple down on that. And the way that I do that is I have something, this is also something we work with our clients on, but it's called an Instagram tracker. So, and I give this away in my Instagram. If you guys want to go there, you can get your access to it. But all I started doing was I started just tracking every post that I made, and I saw what the stats were on it 24 hours after I posted it. And then I just figured out what was working, what wasn't working. Same thing you would do for your ads or for your clients' ads. And I just did more of what was working and less of what wasn't. So, for example, in May, our average view was 2,600. In July, our average view is 3,712. So almost doubled the average view doing that, making the adjustments. So I'm not going to go through this tracker because I have it on my YouTube and on my Instagram, but Everyone says, "Oh, I got to be this professional. I got to have all these captions and I got to do the trends and I got to do this and I got to do that." And all you have to do is literally, it doesn't even matter if you even know one thing about Instagram. If you just post once a day based on your sales cloud blueprint, and then you look at the data, and then the next day you do less of what didn't work and more of what worked. If you did nothing else, you would beat out everybody else on Instagram. If you didn't talk to, you would beat out. All it is just business. More of what's working, less of what isn't. And I ended up firing my media agency. I brought my media team from 22 people down to 3 people now. And we're doing more views, more calls, and more sales because I simplified the entire process, just doing Instagram and YouTube and showing you guys what I'm showing you here. And I'm going to finish this up with how do we put this stuff on steroids? So how do we really start getting more and more conversations happening? Well, what happens is just having people view your profile or view your videos doesn't necessarily equal more sales for the business. So what if you remember yesterday, that kind of self-sustaining funnel that I showed you before, what we like to do is I use a software called ManyChat, which I'm going to walk through here in a moment. But what we essentially do is I say comment something below in this reel that goes off, and they comment this below, and then I have an automation where when they comment that, I will automatically collect their email address. So let me just do this here. Let's see here. What's a good example of one that's worked?
And Ravi,
There's a side.
we have a handful of folks that they switch from that platform when we launched that feature in HighLevel. So
Oh, nice.
I'm aware that you use it because this is what you've been using for a long time with different capabilities. But for our audience that's using it, we have that DM comment feature as well. But I think what's most important here, what Ravi's going to show you, is the effort and the planning. Everything is planned, nothing's random. The system he's put together, he just repeats it and then A/B tests it accordingly. So didn't mean to interrupt you, but just wanted to make sure because what will happen is folks will say, "Well, do we have that, or does HighLevel have that?" If they're new, just want to make sure they're aware that you can use this same function within the HighLevel platform.
Yeah, and that's actually what I recommend. And yeah, no problem interrupting me. You have to understand, I have over 120 automations inside of here. So like what you'll realize is as you're building a business is some of the things like if like Go High Level launched a new feature, there would be a greater cost of us migrating all of that stuff over there than whatever we would benefit from that. So that's just straight up business. I know High Level is not
Amen.
upset at something like that, but if
No.
you guys are just starting out or whatever, or you don't have nearly this much built out, if you could have everything inside one platform, I highly, highly suggest that. That's always the best way to go. Leads to less breakage and everything connects easier together. So you can just copy this exact same thing inside of Go High Level. Another reason why you should sign up with them on there. But the point of this little chat here is all I'm doing is I'm collecting their email, which you can then send to Go High Level. I'm sure Go High Level will allow you to do that exact same thing too. And then those people go in our CRM. They start getting our email blast from us. They start getting messages from us every single day. And we go inside the live chat messages here and we start having conversations with them. So then we start trying to set them and our appointment setters go in here and try to set them on our sales team calendar. We have a triage call, a sales call, et cetera, et cetera. So if you did nothing else, right? I'm going to wrap this up here really quickly, and then we're going to open up questions for everybody. If you did nothing else other than start posting one time a day on Instagram, something that matches your sales copy blueprint. So you know that even if it has not a lot of views, if those people that watch it were my ideal audience, if you tracked that post every single day, the post every day inside your Instagram tracker and did more of what's working and less of what wasn't, and if you send people to your DMs by saying comment this below if you want to learn a little bit more information on it and collect their email, you'll immediately start generating more leads, calls, and sales for your business. And then I told you at the very beginning, I'm a man of my word. The way that you supercharge this entire thing is if you connect them together. So right here, I say, let's see, on this one right here, I say comment IG below for the free tool that I use to generate tens of thousands of views and hundreds of thousands of dollars from my Instagram. When they comment IG below, they get the tool, but they also get access to my YouTube video where I cover how I use that tool, right? So then they're going from Instagram to YouTube, and then they're going to watch maybe 3 or 4. So how I doubled my Instagram growth in 30 days. And then they're going to watch 2 or 3 additional videos on my Instagram, right? Let's see if this. So they click on this one here, and right here is another video suggesting to go to another video I have on email marketing, right? So that's all of it blended together in one. So if you just did, let's say, one YouTube video a week and one reel every single day, I'd say the total additional time given to you is probably, let's say, 5 to 6 hours a week. But you'd be able to start generating 10 times as many leads, calls, and sales. In my opinion, it would be totally worth it. Plus, if you're doing some kind of other outreach, like let's say email or LinkedIn or ads or something else like that, it'll also make that stuff more effective by giving people to consume content when they're not able to speak with you one-on-one. So with that being said, I'll stop talking now.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, comment in the chat below your questions. What we don't get a hold of today, we'll cover tomorrow. Ravi, I got 4 questions, 4 direct questions. These are questions that popped out in our chats here. First question is speed at you. When did you realize you need to pivot from a huge team to a lean strategic machine?
It's a great question. It's happened multiple times in my business career. I think the best way I can put it was that whenever I felt like there was too much friction between when we had an idea and the execution of that idea, and the feedback from that idea, that's when I learned that the team is too big. So a great example would be like I would make a YouTube video and then it would take 5 days to get the thumbnail back, and then 6 days to get the editing back, and then the revisions for the thumbnail and the editing goes back and forth, and then it's got to fit in the content calendar, then it's got to post, and then we got to see how that does. So it might take from the day I film it to the day that we have the data on the video, it could be 14 to 30 days, right? Where now, when I slow this down and clean this up, I'm able to literally shoot a video and I can get my thumbnail designer to have the thumbnail within 24 hours. And so within one day, I have the video up and launched. Same thing with Instagram. It was like taking so long to put the content out there. And so typically when there's a lot of red tape, if you've heard it before, it means that it's just you have none of the benefits of a big business and all the negatives of a big business. And then if you can combine that with when I took it over, I saw all of our numbers increase, right? I saw more views, more leads, more calls, more sales. Then it's probably that your team is too big. Now, I'm not saying I'm not ever going to have a big team again, but I'm saying that I'm sure Go High Level has experienced it and many other people here have experienced it as well. Sometimes when you scale really quickly, you throw money and bodies at problems. And so it does a good job to kind of maintain it. But then when you have a second to breathe and you analyze the stuff again, you might say, you know what, this might not be the most effective way to do this. And having all these people make it harder to fix. So it's easier to clean house and then rebuild it from scratch.
Amazing. Thank you for that feedback. Question number 2, what is your experience or opinion of engagement pods, whether it's for YouTube commenting, Instagram, or Facebook commenting after a video is posted?
Yeah, so the short form is, so I've actually bought Instagram followers 4 years ago before I knew how absolutely terrible of an idea that was. I did buy about 30,000 Instagram followers. You couldn't give me money today to join any kind of engagement pods or followers or any of that stuff now. Because number one, not only does everybody else knows it. So everyone can tell when it's an engagement pod. They're not just real comments. So you kind of don't look good in that sense. Two, the algorithm knows that you're gaming the system. There's no way that anybody here is smarter than the billions of dollars that are poured in this algorithm. And three, the most important, it's giving you false positives. So the whole point of the Instagram tracker is that you can see what's performing well, what isn't performing well, so you can figure out how do you play the algorithm to your benefit. If every single time you post, you're getting the signals that it's performing well because you're paying for it to perform well, you're not able to actually figure out what content is performing well, because no matter how well the engagement pod is, it is 1/1 billionth. I will repeat that, 1/1 billionth as powerful as actually just figuring it out how to make it work organically and having the algorithm push it for you.
Awesome. Question number 3, is sending email blasts as an alternative to your list to drive traffic to either your Instagram, your Facebook, or your YouTube beneficial, whether it's small to medium size subscriber, the amount of the subscriber list that you have? Is that not something to consider doing?
Yeah, no, 100%. We do the exact same thing. You can't necessarily every email you send out say, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And so by sending people to your Instagram or a podcast or your Facebook group or a YouTube video you put up, it's kind of it's like I said yesterday, if you were here, it's an indirect way of saying, buy my stuff. So you're not saying, hey, buy my stuff. You're saying, hey, watch this video. But then at the end of this video, I'm going to say, buy my stuff. And so you're able to kind of get them to consume more content. And if you took nothing from these 2 days so far, the more content someone consumes of you, the more likely they're going to buy.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And the last question, based on what we've asked and what we've learned, when is the right time to start a paid ad campaign, whether it's on Meta for any of those platforms or YouTube after we've posted what we feel enough organic content? Like, what's the next level up? Like if we were playing a video game, how do we get to that next level?
Yeah, so the I've launched thousands of advertising campaigns. I would say as soon as possible that you can launch an advertising campaign, you should. And what is defined as soon as possible? It's whenever you're doing something organically that is working, then paid ads will just put the fuel on the fire. So if you don't know how you're getting clients and you don't know how much you're making per client and you're just randomly making sales, then running paid ads is not going to do anything for you. But if you know, for example, that every single time you make a post about this one thing and they watch this one video and then they become a client, then you can make more ads, more people watch that one thing and watch that one video by just running paid ads to it. So I call it a curated selling system. But like for any of these examples here, it could be for the YouTube video, it could be for in your Facebook group, it could be for anything. I'll use Facebook groups since I haven't talked about here. Facebook groups. If you know that for every 20 new group members you got a new client, and that client was worth, let's say, $3,000, then you could figure out how do I make the cost per the new Facebook group member low enough that after I got 20 of them, I would be profitable. So the first step is just figure out one simple way. With anybody here doing less than $1 million a year, you only need one simple way to acquire clients. As soon as you have that, or even the taste of that, then I highly suggest turning on the ads because it'll just 10x your results.
Thank you. Ravi, there's questions on questions on questions here. We're going to save the rest of those questions for tomorrow to start off our session. Could you bring us home? What do we got coming up tomorrow? For those that maybe just joined in halfway, could you just bring them up to speed on how they can get part of your network, experience HighLevel as a courtesy to you? Just all the basic stuff that we like to go over.
Yeah, my pleasure. So thank you guys for tuning in again today. Today was shorter than yesterday because yesterday I teed us up really hard for the technical aspect of stuff today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Just as a recap, I can't stress enough how important it is to create content in order to acquire clients for your business. Instagram and YouTube, the biggest platforms, I recommend doing that. And then once you are able to start generating eyeballs, the benefit of having something like Go HighLevel on the back end there is you're able to convert those eyeballs into leads, calls, and sales way, way easier. So the benefit about using like something like what we're offering here today, the 30-day free trial plus the onboarding call that you get included inside of it where they'll help you set it up, is the fact that they can help set up all the other stuff I'm going to cover tomorrow, like the emails and the text messages and the CRM and the funnels and the opt-in pages. That's all going to be installed inside of it. And so all you have to focus on is literally just creating the content that I talked about. If you choose not to do that, that's okay. But understand that you're going to have to do all of the sales and marketing and funnels and emails and all of that. Plus, you're going to have to also figure out the content side. So if you can just have everything as an all-in-one software like what Go HighLevel does, then when I come on tomorrow, I'm going to show you guys exactly how we hook these two things up together, your organic content and Go HighLevel, and how you can kind of create lead magnets on repeat.
Awesome. Well, look, y'all been very generous with your time in the audience. We appreciate you. Ravi, as always, man. Straightforward, lean, mean, strategic machine. Looking forward for tomorrow. It's a wrap, y'all. It's a wrap. If you had some fun, type in Go HighLevel below. Ravi, I'll see you tomorrow. Our audience, see you tomorrow. Take care.